Hey guys, welcome back to Speaking Spurs with me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham. So today we're just going to talk about the upcoming game on Friday at Goodison Park against Everton. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff UK time and a must-win game. We know that now. It's nitty-gritty time. Every game is must-win. 7 games in the Premier League left, 21 points up for grabs. Probably going to need a maximum of 21 just because of where the teams are around us. So if we just have a look at the table, obviously we know City are going to win the league. Man United, with that victory against us, have pretty much wrapped up second place. Leicester, however, losing to West Ham, have dropped themselves back into sort of like this race for third and fourth. So they are on 56 points. West Ham are just behind them in fourth with 55. Chelsea have 54 points in fifth. In sixth place, Liverpool have 52 points. And in seventh, we have 49. And then Everton, who we're playing on Friday, they have 48 points, but they obviously have a game in hand. But there are others still technically in this race because Arsenal are sitting on 45 points, Leeds 45 points, and Aston Villa on 44 points, and they have a game in hand as well. I mean, they're not in the race for Champions League football, but they are certainly in the race for the Europa League spots. Which, you know, we're saying we're only 6 points off Champions League football, but we're only actually a few points away from not getting any European football at all. So yeah, must-win game. And everybody else in that little category, they will be seeing that with their games. So we'll just talk through the team news for us, which is that Doherty and Davies are still out. Doherty was actually spotted back in training. However, those images, Jose said, are just from the warm-up. He only took part in the warm-up and then went back in with the sports science guys. So he's not actually that close to a return. Davies has not been training at all. The only other person that's out is Dane Scarlett. He picked up an injury in the Youth Cup match. But that doesn't really affect too much because he was only getting a place on the bench anyway. Then he was asked many questions, so we'll just go through them. First up was, how was Sonny after the horrendous abuse that he suffered? Jose said he thinks he's okay. He's very loved here and loved back at home. He's had good support from everybody and he thinks it's what he needed and he's fine. He was asked, did the pundits' words maybe add to the abuse that Sonny had got? Because they were quite critical of the way he went to the ground and how long he was down for. Jose quite simply wouldn't comment on that, and I think that's fair enough. A big 9 days for us. Obviously, we've got some important league games, and that the 9 days ends with that cup final. Yeah, he said cup final is an important moment for the club, for the players, for the fans. He isn't really dependent on these Premier League games to give us the sort of like the boost and the running we need to the cup final. He said in a previous interview that cup finals are kind of 50-50 on the day. Anyone can win. Anything that happens beforehand doesn't really mean too much. But we just need to focus on each game as it comes. Jose always says it and all his players say it. You know, the game against Everton, he said that they've got similar objectives to us. They're going to want to finish as high as they can. If they can get a Champions League spot, they're going to want that too. There was a question about the Players' Union talking about the concussion substitutes, talking about whether that's going to be a permanent thing going forward, whether once you go off for the concussion you have to permanently go off or you can come back on. Jose doesn't really like to comment on rules as such. He prefers to kind of take a back seat on that, keep his opinions in-house. Didn't really have too much of an opinion on this. He just said, you know, when the rules, they're constantly changing, you just have to accept it. Which is fair enough, they do. Moaning about it doesn't really change them. But he said it does make sense. He was asked about, and I don't know if anybody else has seen this, we've just signed a partnership deal with Dulux, the paint company, and they did their tour of the stadium, and you know they've got the English sheepdog as their mascot, if you will. So there's a photo circulating on social media of the dog, and they were just asking Jose how he feels about that because he's a dog lover. I don't think he really understood what was going on. I don't know how much he knows about it, but the reporter just gave a chuckle and moved on from there. Then we got down to the nitty gritty. 18 points dropped. Not good enough. And is there an explanation for it? Jose said he knows why it's happened. But obviously he doesn't really want to go into too many of the details why. He said it's great in one sense because we're taking the lead, so we're doing something right. But obviously, like the rest of us know, to not sustain that for longer than the first half is not good. If we'd have finished all our games at half-time, we'd currently be sitting second in the Premier League. Now, I don't know if that's down to just mentality. It may be down to fitness as well, because we certainly look sluggish in some of the games. So I don't know if there is a fitness issue amongst the squad going on. But as we know, not good enough. Shouldn't be dropping that many points from these games. Then they moved on to with a question as to, what are the reasons? And Jose said that he doesn't want to discuss the reasons. He's not ready to discuss that with the media. They asked when he's going to be ready, and he said maybe never. He did say it's down to some of our qualities as a team. So I don't know, what that really is, what qualities they are he's on about. Are they mental qualities? Are they physical qualities? Are they cohesion qualities? I don't know. He's kind of left it really bare, and we may never find out. I don't know. He was asked about the training. There was lots of academy players involved in training this week, and Jose's answer was he needed them to help with the development of our qualities. Again, qualities that he won't explain, but he said there was lots of play going on, lots of different pitches. So he obviously had lots of different things that he wanted to try out and test, and everybody was involved. Our youth academy coach, Dean, is a great guy, quite happy to lend the players across. And, it's a good experience for them as well to be mixed in with the first team squad, kind of find out what that training is really about, because that's what they've got to come in the future. So it's a nice experience for them. It's good for the first team players as well. They get to sort of reminisce on what it was like for them when they were younger and they were coming through. So they now get to be those players putting an arm round, giving their advice and stuff. And I think it creates a good atmosphere around the club. It's certainly a nice thing, and hopefully it will let some of these players know that there's some youngsters that are ready to start making their step up and push for those places. So it could push them on to get themselves into gear. He was also asked about the centre-backs pairing and when are we going to see a settled centre-back partnership. There's between Sanchez, Alderweireld and Dyer, there's been a lot of rotation between the three. They tend to sit out a chunk of games and then one of them comes back in, the next one sits out for some games. Obviously, we've seen Joe Rodon pretty much introduce the last few games into that mix. And Jose didn't really give a proper answer. It was more along the lines of everybody wants to play and yada yada. I feel like at the moment he's quite cagey and he doesn't want to give too many answers. And I think that's probably because he gets a lot of stick for criticising players. So I think at the moment he's trying to steer himself away from criticising people too much, because he gets a lot of media attention and maybe gets picked on a little bit more than other managers do when he criticises his players. Others kind of get away with it. Pochettino used to criticise the players a fair chunk and he kind of got away with it. I think with Jose, I think it's the way he goes about it. It ends up seeking more attention. And I think he's trying to keep away from that at the moment, especially seeing as we're not playing our best football. And this could end up being quite a dismal season. What else was he asked? Oh yes, he was asked if any of the people sort of in the hunt for Champions League football lose this weekend, are they essentially out of the race? His answer to that was pretty simple. No, because there's still 21 points to play for, which is true. Everybody's very tight in that. He said that, if one of the teams was to win, the other doesn't. Obviously, you gain a slight advantage, but with that many points still available, you certainly can't say it's over. And as we've seen this season, many teams have had these slumps in form. We've had ours, and unfortunately, it stretched for quite a long time. We come back a bit. Now we're having another slump. We're still waiting for West Ham to have their slump. But, a lot of teams have had them, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some more to come with the run into the end of the season. There's going to be injuries picked up, I'm sure, as teams have played loads of games. He was also asked what he makes of Everton this season. He said they're good, a good team. They've got a big manager. Ancelotti's one of the best managers in the world. Very good squad. And he said he feels like it's just the beginning for them. With Ancelotti in charge, the players they've got, he feels like they're only going to get better and better and better. And it's the start of a very bright project for them. I mean, obviously they've got players from, Real Madrid, James Rodriguez, there's Andre Gomez, Yerry Mina. They've got some good youngsters coming through. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is looking very good. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them start to creep their way up the league over the coming seasons as well. He said that after 51 games, it's quite incredible that we only have 2 injuries. Like, we've played a lot of games in a short space of time, and the game against Manchester United, the break we had leading up to that was the first time we've had a break of that size for quite a while in terms of league, and with players not going off anywhere or playing anything. So to only have 2 players injured at this stage of the season, he feels is very good. Now, if we move into the Everton team news, like, they've had a lot of injuries recently, but apparently Ancelotti has said that Pickford, Allen, Andre Gomez and King are all fit and should feature against Spurs. I don't know how much game time they're going to get. I should imagine Pickford will just go straight back in between the sticks. As for the others, whether they're on the bench or on the pitch, I do not know. Calvert-Lewin, however, will not feature. Neither will Yerry Mina, Fabian Delph, Barnard, Decore and Barmin. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I don't really watch a lot of games with Everton and other the ones that we play against them, so sorry if that pronunciation's wrong. If anyone knows how to pronounce it and wants to put it phonetically in the comments, please do so. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, no doubt. Last time out we played them in the Cup. A lot of goals, 9 goals scored. If you look at the form of the 2 teams at the moment, Everton's form hasn't been great either. They've had 2 draws, 3 losses and a win. And I think it's in that order as well. Whereas us, in that same time, we've had 3 losses, 1 draw and 2 wins. So neither team are in great form, but we do have that extra win. One of them was against Dinamo Zagreb. So not the best to compare with. But yeah, form-wise, very similar. Points-wise in the table, very similar. If we look at goal difference, that's where it's kind of a bit different. We've got a plus 17 goal difference. They've only got a plus 3. That tells you everything you need to know. We don't concede many goals. We score a decent chunk of goals. Whereas I think a lot of their games have been, by fine margins, which is kind of self-explanatory when you see they've only got a plus 3 goal difference. And then you look at someone like Leeds, who are bang on 0 for their goal difference. They are a team that love to give you a game and certainly attack. But in terms of what do we want to see from this game, I just want to see effort, really, a bit of fight, a bit of hunger. I'm hoping that Jose has realised now that defensively there's something that's not working. And we have a habit of tailing off as the game goes on. Now, we know that he's not the one telling them to drop off and defend, but it's something that's naturally happening. I think what we need to do is we just need to attack. I don't know if people can remember, but a few seasons back, it was almost like Liverpool had this attitude of, it doesn't matter how many goals you score, we will score more. And I think the majority of the reason why we're conceding goals is just down to the fact that people are sitting back. We still have a pretty good defence. Hugo Lloris, statistics-wise, is still one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So I don't think we can really put anything on him. He has an occasional mistake in him, but certainly he hasn't let us down as much as you think when you compare him to the other keepers in the Premier League. He's certainly been better than pretty much all the other keepers within the top 6 for the amount of points that he saved us. I think we know defensively goals are going to come against us, but our best moments come when we attack. So I think Jose should just let the shackles off now and say to them, go out, have fun, attack as a team, and just keep piling the pressure on your opposition. Don't sit back. He's obviously not telling them to sit back, but I think we just need to spend more time with the ball. And we need to attack in better ways, get our players involved. I'd even go as far to say I'd be happy if we went to a back three centre-backs, and allowed Reguilon and Aurier to attack, because they're both much better in attack than they are defence. Let's get Aurier up there doing what he does, trying to terrorise defenders. Let's get Reguilon down on that other side. Like, he's got a hell of a cross on him. Let's just get these boys playing. Let's work to their strengths. Defensively, we are not as good as we are attacking. I think Moura needs to come back into that number 10 position in the middle. He's great when he's going in all directions. He's got more options. He can get beyond Kane. Sonny, we know what we're going to get from him. And if we unleash Aurier and Reguilon, it gives Sonny a chance to come inside more, where he's got opportunities to shoot and score some more goals, link up tightly with Harry Kane. I think maybe Bale should be given another chance. Obviously, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but certainly he made a mistake in the Arsenal game by just not really getting back and helping out the defence at all. He made Doherty look much worse than he actually is in that game, just because he didn't come back and help. And he's been overly punished for it, I think. And I don't know what's gone on with Dele either. He had a couple of good games and now he's completely out of it again. It's very strange, but I think now, with 7 games to go, I don't think you can be too pragmatic about it. I think you now just have to go to it and play with your strengths. Attacking is definitely our strength. We've got so many good players. Even Ndombele sitting deep next to Højbjerg picks up the ball and he just does things to get us back up the pitch. I think that's the way we need to go. In terms of lineup, I've actually put up on my Instagram page, which is speaking_Spurs. So go on there, check it out, give that a follow. I've actually done a lineup that I would like to see if we're going to play in the normal formation that Jose goes with. So go on there, check that out. Comment. Put down here who you would like to see play, what system you would like to play, how you want us to play for the remainder of the season. In terms of score predictions, I don't know. I think that we're going to win this one. I do. I genuinely do. I think something's going to click. And they have to, really. They have to. Players are still vying for their positions in the Euros. They're not going to want to have no European football at the end of this season. And I think the players are going to want a good run in coming into that cup game against Manchester City. So I think we're going to win. I do think it's going to be tight. Maybe 2-1 to us. But I'm going to stay positive. I think the boys can do it. They've definitely got the quality. But it's just time to push themselves for 90 minutes. And stop panicking and inviting teams onto us. It's obvious the more pressure that you have, the more likely you are to concede goals. It's strange when you look at the league and then look at our stats. It's hard to believe that we're actually sitting this close to Champions League football still. You'd expect us to be somewhere near the middle of the table, because there are other things that you look at, like we have the second most amount of points dropped from leading positions. So yeah, we're 19th for that. We were 19th for something else, 20th for something else. It's just incredible when you look at it. The amount of things that we're down there for. Clearances, we've made the most clearances, I think, or we're 19th in that. That just tells you how bad it's been and how much we invite teams on in the game. Manchester United, I think we made 10 clearances against them, and that is the least amount of clearances we've made in a game. So on reflection, as I said, the Manchester United game wasn't too bad, but it just goes to show how much of the ball we are giving these other teams in the opportunities. So hopefully come Friday night, 8 o'clock, the boys are up for it. God knows what lineup he's going to go with. We don't know what kind of Tottenham we're going to get. Unfortunately, for a lot of this season, we've had quite a bit to moan about. I suppose a little bit of good news is that we're going to get 2,000 fans for the cup final. Man City will also get 2,000 fans, and then the remainder of the fans will be made up of people that are local and I think it's NHS workers. So it'll be nice to have fans in there. It'll be weird because the stadium's huge, as we know from having a season there. And even when it's packed, it's a strange one because the fans are so far away from the pitch. It's just weird that it never sounded the same as it did at White Hart Lane, because we were always on top of the players. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much noise a very limited amount of fans can make, especially seeing as a lot of them may actually be neutral fans with the NHS workers. You can't guarantee they're going to be Spurs and Man City fans. So that'll be an interesting one. But for the fans, I'm assuming it's the same with Man City. It's only been opened up to season ticket holders. I had the email come through, and you can apply, and it'll be done probably based on points. You go into a ballot, there'll be a lot of tick boxes you need to meet to actually get a ticket. And I've actually seen a lot of Spurs fans saying that they're not even going to put their names in the hat to go watch it. And it's bad to say, but I've included myself in that. And it's a bit of a disappointing one, really. I would love to say that I was going to go and watch and put myself in there. But it's been such a strange season, and I can understand why people don't want to go. But then at the same time, it's a cup final. It's a chance to lift silverware. But then I think with such a limited number of fans as well, it creates quite a strange atmosphere. And lifting the cup and being in the stadium, it's never going to feel the same as, when the stadium's absolutely packed. So have you put your name in for it? Let me know. Comment below. But I'm going to leave it there for today. So not too long a video, just about the 25-minute mark. Let me know your score predictions, lineups, anything you want to get off your chest, smash it below. As I said, there is an Instagram page now, speaking_Spurs. So go on there, give it a follow. And then if you haven't already on this channel, subscribe to the channel. Support this with a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And you can even turn on the bell notifications if you want to get notified when the next video goes live. So that is it from me today. Enjoy what is left of this working week. And fingers crossed we can start the official part of the weekend, Friday night, with a win against Everton. And hopefully, over the weekend, some of the teams around us drop points, because we could really do with it. But stay safe, guys. And as always, come on, you Spurs.